On this week's show, we're discussing everything revealed at this week's Xbox Developer Direct, Ubisoft dropping the axe on Prince of Persia alongside 6 other projects, Marathon landing a surprisingly close release date, and much, much more on this week's GamerGuild Podcast. Good game, everyone, and welcome back to your weekly gaming podcast, the GamerGuild Podcast, where myself and my co-hosts get together to round up all of the weekly video game news for your listening or viewing pleasure right here on youtube.com/GamerGuildTV and available up there in the digital clouds on your podcast platform of choice. You just need to search for the GamerGuild Podcast or GamerGuild TV, and you'll find us there every single Monday, 8 a.m. when this show goes live. Your podcast players for the week are myself, Chris, at Arcane Rogue on social media, and my co-host, the man of many pixels, Mr. Richie. Welcome back.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, indeed. And we do have a great show lined up for you all, so don't forget to like, subscribe, ring a ding-ding that bell so you're kept in the loop with all the great content that we like to bring you every single week. A couple of pointers of housekeeping before we get into this week's show. Merchandising. There is a payday sale coming up on the 30th of January that leads through till the 1st of December, where it is 30% off everything, which I think is the highest discount the Spreadshirt website actually goes to. So if you want to pick up some new merch for the new year, if you, like myself, have been dying for the last 6 weeks between early Christmas paydays and late January paydays, maybe now's the time. You deserve that little treat. So check your bank balance come payday, jump onto the website and get yourself some merch.
Yeah, my bank balance is looking pretty terrible at the moment.
Yeah.
But I have booked a log cabin away for me in April, and tomorrow, Saturday, we've got a nice spa evening.
Ooh, that's not too bad.
Stay over. So that's wiped me out.
I don't think we'd be actually that bad if we hadn't gone out in Newcastle last week and spent a fortune.
That as well.
Because it was just so much money.
I added it up and was like, it just keeps going. It wasn't that many transactions though.
Cocktails, man. Cocktails.
Yeah.
Cocktails are a bitch. Not only do you get very little liquid value for money, they take ages to make as well. Give me a beer any day.
We were in a bar and I think I got 2 cocktails and it cost me 17 quid. And it was like, oh yeah.
It's probably more. I think it was about 24 each.
Yeah.
And it could go up. It's crazy. So save yourself some money.
I was thinking of a different bar. I was thinking of Fair Play.
No, I was thinking the one where we got the skull glasses and the parrot cocktails and everything. They were 24. Two for 12, I think. 2.12 each, can't remember. But it's payday soon, so we can forget all about next week and we'll divulge ourselves back into niceties and other things. But if you do have a couple of spare pence, why not become a Gamer Guild member as well? From as little as 99p, you get early access to this show, stickers and badges next to your name in the chat, and our respect. Unlike those dirty freeloaders.
Gamer Guild cocktails.
I don't know how we'd get them out to people, but we could theme them around gaming.
We'll sell the
somehow.
recipe.
We'll sell the recipe for cocktails. I'll tell you what it is. It's a bit of vodka. It's usually some kind of fruit juice mixed in with another kind of fruit juice. Add 80% ice, and then stick it in a fancy glass. Boom, done.
You have to put it in a shaker first.
You do. You have to shake it. Yes, that ice needs to fully work its way around the liquid. But some news on the headlines as well, Richie. We've got another weekly live stream went up this week for PlayStation Retro Hunt. It was Independence Day, so we will not go quietly into the night. We will relive the 1996 Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum movie Independence Day. Is it Bill Pullman? I think of that one as the president. It's not Bill Paxton. I think they always get mixed up. I think it's Bill Pullman.
Asking the wrong person here.
Well,
I've
it's
seen it a
Independence
long
Day.
time ago.
I didn't even know it was a game until I did the Die Hard episode, and within the manual of the Die Hard episode was the advertisement for the Independence Day game. So I'm not only on a journey of collecting. I'm also learning about games that I never even knew existed. So it's really cool.
I feel you've dropped that episode at the wrong time of the year, though.
Yeah, but I don't want to hold it off till July because it feels like an eternity away. I do have a special lined up for February, though, so keep your eyes peeled, folks, if you are enjoying the series. And the final bit of news, Richie, is that next week's episode will actually be our 500th episode of podcasting here on the channel. So for those who were here from the very beginning, back in 2019, right till this very day in 2026, next week, one to look out for, 500 episodes, which I crunched some numbers, Richie. If every episode averages probably about 1.5 hours, which tends to be the norm, that equates to about 31 days straight of us
we got
talking shit
months'
about
worth of
video
podcasts.
games. Yeah. If you were brand new to the channel today, you could sit down, plug yourself in, and between now and March, just enjoy our voice on loop for 24 hours a day, talking utter nonsense about video games. Because that's what we do every single week here, Richie, talking about video games. So we'll kickstart this show off by throwing it over to you and asking what you've been playing this past week.
Take a guess.
I forget every week, you know. I don't know how we sit
Really?
here every week and you ask me and my brain just goes... Bleh.
Still Octopath. Still Octopath.
Oh, Zero, of course, yeah. Octopath
Yeah.
Zero.
I am so close to the end though. Like I'm at the last few hours. I think I've got a couple of hours of story, and I don't think I've got much cleanup after that.
Finished it or platinum it? Platinum.
I haven't rolled credits, so
you don't.
yeah.
know.
I've looked at the trophy list and I've got I know what collectibles and stuff I still need, but they're all in areas I can't access yet for story reasons.
Okay.
So there's one last area that you kind of unlock right at the end of the story. And everything I kind of need pretty much to wrap up all my collectibles and things like that are in that area.
Okay. And as you approach the end, are you thoroughly enjoying it? Is it living up to expectation?
Oh, I've enjoyed the whole thing. It is a bit long in the tooth, to be honest. It could have done with being a little bit shorter because it feels like I just can't seem to get to the end of the bloody story. It's like I'm still enjoying the story and everything about it, but it's like, it's like part of me what is ready to move on.
Yeah.
But I do want the platinum. I want the platinum though.
Okay. And
I think the platinum's definitely doable.
in scope of the other two entries in the series, how long is this one taking? Longer? About the same?
I don't know. I guess longer. 2, I don't think I actually rolled credits on 2. I think I kind of fizzled out on it. And 1 is a bit of a slightly small game, still a massive game, but not the size of 0. But with 1 and 2, I played them on the Switch, so I wasn't that bothered about making sure I have all the collectibles, any kind of miscellaneous trophy hunting. I just didn't care about any of that because I was just playing on the Switch, so I played probably the most pure way you can play a game, and purely to just enjoy my experience with it.
Sounds good. So if you were to... So now you're nearing the end then. Would you recommend this as a great place to start for people?
Yeah.
Or...
Yeah, I don't think 2 doesn't really come into play at all throughout the story of 0. So 2, you could just say as a complete standalone experience, separate to 1 and 0. You don't need to play 1 to play 0.
Okay.
There's a few moments where you kind of go, oh, that's why that happened. Just like some of the things that happened in 1 are kind of set up in 0 a little bit, but it's more of a little bit of fan service rather than a necessity to understand. It's just the occasional character you hear talking about someone go, that's part of the motivation of this character in 1.
That's part
kind of thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it sounds like a good time. And have you made your decision on what's next then? Are we going Control?
Control is up next, yeah.
It's lined up nice. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on that one. For unlikely reasons, I've not played anything this week at all.
No.
As a very, very rare artifact
what
here on the
happened?
show. Just busy with work and other things. I have finished reading Jurassic Park: The Lost World. Or just The Lost
you've
World.
been reading books.
I
instead of
know.
playing games, you
How
massive
dare
nerd.
me? I know. But I finished that, and just like the first one, thoroughly enjoyed the story. It's nothing like the Lost World movie. You can see where when they got to the second movie, they kind of had to really retcon it to, I guess, follow on from the original movie, where the events and stuff had to line up a bit better than they would in the book. And there's a lot of characters that aren't there. There's a lot of gruesome elements in terms of the interactions with the dinosaurs that are kind of replicated in it. But as I said last week, it's just hyping me up for Jurassic Park Survival. We're in this world where I'm leaning into the horror. We've got Resident Evil coming in a mere 4 weeks now. So the hype's building for that. I know there's people in our Discord server talking about Resident Evil and where to play. Do you start at 2? Do you wait? I know it's my ongoing conundrum. I've got some retro games that I want to dive into as well. So I've got probably a busy week or two coming up of varied play. But yeah, Jurassic Park Survival, man. Whenever that gets teased next, probably at Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest thing. It's going to be in my horror vibes for the year. Yeah, it's like going back to the first island, but it's like Alien Isolation.
Yeah, I've got a list of like kind of games that I want to play, or like with a separate section for the priority games that I ideally want to play this year. Mm-hmm. And Jurassic Park isn't on there because I completely forgot about it.
Looks good. If it comes out with good reviews, I'm there. So it should be. I might even get it. Depending on the price, it might be one. If they get the price at the sweet spot, my curiosity and love for the franchise will be enough. If they price it ridiculously high and then it reviews poorly, I might be like, okay, maybe it's just another horror like movie tie-in cash grab. But I don't think so. It looks that good in the early trailers, so we shall see. But Richie, we're not here to talk about what we're playing in the future. We're here to talk about what's announced for the future today, because we've got a lot to discuss. But we can't get to it until you introduce us to the
graciously gathered GamerGuild Gazette, aka the news.
The news. And as always, the news is brought to you by our guild heroes. As I've already mentioned on the show, those folks are the ones who support us that extra little bit further, not like the dirty freeloaders who listen on free feeds, but these are the people who dig deep into their pockets, into their fortunes, into their monthly paychecks, and dig out at least 99p to support us that extra little bit further, just like you can. All the amazing things I've mentioned before. But as we'll get to in the Fable news, Richie, if you are in fact a rich twat... Maybe think about becoming a member from as little as 99p. We'll get to that. That context will make sense in like 10 minutes. You'll look back and think that was an hilarious joke, Chris. But Xbox, they had their fourth annual developer direct conference digitally. Revealed some new games, maybe a little sneaky surprise within there. It was hosted this past Thursday at a reasonable time in the UK as well. I think it was broadcast for about 5 or 6 p.m. I can't remember when it kicked off properly. But they showed off some new games. We knew about most of them, and we'll get into it and break it all down. But I think just to begin, Richie, we've both watched it. What were your just overall thoughts of the presentation?
I thought it was perfectly solid. I don't think there's a bad game in the bunch. It's delivered on showing us a bit more about Fable, which is kind of one of the biggies. Forza Horizon 6 is going to be massive for Xbox this year. We've got a date on that. And it looks like the next Forza game. Looks absolutely stunning, amazing gameplay. Looks like they've added like a bit of a town building element to it, where like seems to link in nicely with some multiplayer features. Mm-hmm. So... And we got a surprise game, which I think was a bit of a smaller title this time for the surprise game. But sometimes that's not a bad thing. But basically a party game from blanking. Oh, who made it? Double Fine. Yeah, so we got a surprise party game from Double Fine, and we got to see some like a bit of in depth about Beast of Reincarnation from Game Freak.
Yeah, the Pokemon people.
I think for a 4-game direct, I think it was pretty solid.
Yeah, half an hour.
4 varied games. Yeah.
I would agree. I thought it was kept at a nice pace. It's always nice to see how beautiful these studios are, these developers get to work. And they all look like really modern, up-to-date offices with like well-being areas, game rooms. Obviously, they're all games rooms because it's a developer. But you know what I mean? Everything just looks like clean and crisp and... up to date.
I like the developer direct format actually for these kind of stuff, where a typical presentation like Summer Games Fest or Game Awards, you get a trailer bang, trailer bang, trailer bang, trailer bang, and then you get to the end and go, I can't even remember what I've watched.
Yep.
Where with the developer direct, you've got like, here's an hour, there's 4 games, each of them are going to have roughly 10 to 20 minutes each. Have fun. And you get some clips, you get devs talking about the gameplay and their inspirations and stuff. It feels like you're learning a bit about the game rather than just like a CGI trailer or like getting an engine trailer.
Absolutely.
You get more context to what you're seeing.
Yeah. And I think you're right there in saying that not only do you get to see the people behind it and their thought process and their reasonings, but also gameplay. We get to see a good bit of gameplay within each of these sections. So let's get into it then. The Developer Direct showed off gameplay, developer insights across 4 games coming from Xbox. They had Playground Games, who brought 2 games to the show, actually. We had Game Freak, as you said, and Double Fine. Showed off Fable, Forza Horizon, Beasts of Reincarnation, which we all knew about. And as you mentioned, the surprise announcement, Kiln, which brought kind of extended footage, behind the the scenes, and a bit more. It was interesting that they start the show once again with that kind of blanket Microsoft message of all games in our show are Xbox Play Anywhere titles, which means obviously you can buy them on the Xbox or the Windows Store. They're yours to play on PC, console, cloud, any additional handheld, whatever you may have at no additional cost, and all your saves carry over, all your add-ons, your achievements, they're all unified in that Xbox Play Anywhere model. So it's always nice to go into something thinking they've just got that blanket label across the whole presentation.
Yeah, they're really pushing for the Xbox Store to be like ubiquitous. Doesn't matter where you're playing Xbox games, the Xbox Store, you buy it in one place, you play it in another. Yeah. Whether it's on your TV through the cloud, or on your desktop PC, or your console, or like a third-party thing like an Xbox ROG Ally. It's all the same, all there, wherever you want to play.
Yeah, it's all absolutely. Yeah. And they kickstarted the direct off with a look at Fable. So we've known about Fable for some time. They showcased a trailer, I think, probably 3 years ago nearly now. It was
Forza started with, wasn't it?
Maybe it was actually. Maybe I've just put them in our list in that particular way. Either way,
I think you've got Forza on top of the list.
We've started on Fable now. Fable being worked on by Playground Games, who are the people who've done the last several Forza Horizon entries. So they're branching out. We know they're great at making open worlds, but this is their first time at attempting a open world RPG with plenty of consequences, choices. It's very Witcher meets Hogwarts Legacy-esque in terms of like combat. It's got that British humour, that British whimsical charm. The developers stood there during the showcase and they basically took us through a few steps of kind of what to expect from things. They went into the open world, the morality of the game, the story and the combat, which we can break into a little bit in particular. What I thought was quite nice is they kind of opened the presentation kind of doing an ode to Lionhead Studios, who were the original people who made the first game, and they said they understood their roots, they understood their work, and this was kind of, they were trying to take that DNA and do with it what they could. I thought it was a nice little nod to like, we're going to acknowledge what's came before us. Where do you want to start, Richie? Because they did talk about quite a few in-depth details. Where's your overall hype gauge on Fable?
I'm in.
You're in? What's ticked your box?
Well, I was always very interested in it, and I think it looks like a sort of game that we haven't had in a while, like a kind of fantasy action adventure game that isn't trying to be a dark horror game. It isn't trying to be a Soulsborne game. It just looks fun. Like it's a world. I think it looks deep, rich fantasy world. Mm-hmm. It's well realized. There's a consequence to how you play in the world, but I think the gameplay looks solid as well. It looks like you can approach fights how you choose, rather than having to parry all the time.
Yeah, I thought the part, especially where they said like a living, breathing world, where I think they said there's like over was it 100 or 500 NPCs in the world to make it fully realized. So like every one of your decisions has consequences. So if you like meet people within the town of Albion, you can obviously fight them, whatever, but you can also marry them, befriend them, do favors. You can own property,
buy their house.
Yeah, own property, evict them if you choose. But I love the part where it said like everyone within the world will remember that. They've all got active schedules. They go to work, they go to sleep. The kids play out, the kids come home, that kind of thing. To a point where the joke I made earlier on was you come across an individual and he remembers you evicting him from his house. So he doesn't like your character at all. And that's where it says, thinks of you like a rich twat. Comes in. And that's such a British term. It made me chuckle.
When we were talking before about Fable, like having a bit of a reputation and it didn't quite live up to expectations, I think this is the sort of stuff where it did turn out to be a decent fantasy action game, fantasy action RPG, but some of this kind of rich world stuff where like you can buy a house, put someone in it, charge them too much rent, they can't pay, so you evict them, and then the entire townsfolk will remember you doing that. That's something I think when the original Fable came out was probably not achievable.
Yeah, I think they tried elements of like storytelling, but as you said, is with the power they had back then, there was very much quite a lot of limitations to it. I love the fact that like you evicting someone, and maybe like their children grew up to hate you as the person who evicted them as a family, or they broke up the mother and father or whatever. So I'm really interested to see how because that's all well and good in theory, but I think if it works in practice, it could be really good. We saw how much Baldur's Gate was praised for its branching pathways.
I can see it being little things like you're a dick to someone, and then you find out later that the town's blacksmith is that guy's brother, and now no longer is willing to work with you, or charges you more. I can see it being them little kind of details.
Especially if they put in clever story beats where you have to make a decision on two people, and either outcome it's going to impact someone later in the story. So, like you said, you forget about them. You just think, oh, it's just a passive side mission, and that comes back and either bites you or helps you deeper into the main quest or something. That could be really intriguing.
Yeah. One thing I thought was pretty cool that they brought up is apparently there's a quest where you have a chat where you go up against a giant. You can choose multiple paths to resolve it, but if you ultimately kill the giant, his corpse will just be there on the outskirts of the town forever,
slowly decaying.
Well, I don't know if it's slowly decaying, but it's just going to be there for the rest of the time. So that is so you've made a choice, and for the rest of the game, you have to live with that choice because you can see it. And it's not just a checklist in a quest log.
Especially because it's portrayed by Richard Adeoye as well, so it's
Ayoade, yeah.
Ayoade, yeah. Why would you kill him? Who knows? Who knows what he's going to do? Don't forget the giant chickens. They emphasise there's going to be lots of fire-breathing giant chickens.
Cockatrice.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah, it's a fantasy creature.
Oh, it's a legit, not just in Fable, just in mythology.
No, it's in other stuff. It's in Witcher and all sorts.
Oh, is it?
It's just, yeah.
There you go. So in terms of this, it has obviously a distinct art style. I think they did well to kind of showcase it's not photoreal, but it's got that. It is photoreal, but it isn't kind of art style to it, where it's close, but it's not trying to be one for one.
But it also doesn't look like Breath of the Wild or Fortnite. It hasn't went cel shaded. It looks like a stylized thing. It looks beautiful, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it looks
it's
really
not
good.
It's not photorealistic, but it is still stunning.
Yeah, I was really intrigued. It was one of those where going into it, didn't really know anything about Fable beyond just like it was an older game, a trilogy of games in fact, and I knew the studio was shut down. But then when I watched the direct and I saw more and more of them explaining like the mechanics, the interactions, the open world, the combat, and quite frankly, I quite appreciate that they've not really shown us much of the actual story.
No,
which has me intrigued.
But I don't know the plot. Like, they've talked a bit about the mechanics. Yeah, there's melee sword play, and there's range things with a bow, there's magic spells, but we haven't really seen a lot of it.
No, other than I think the opening kind of where they set the scene and say like your grandma was frozen in stone, and like all your family, in fact, and that's kind of why you as the hero starts the quest, and the first mission seemingly is the giant mission. Other than that, depending on how long this game is, like 20, 30, 40, 50 hours of RPG, the world and everything around it looks enticing enough where, even though as someone who's never played Fable before, if this drops at the right time of year, and we should also point out, it is coming to PlayStation.
It is.
So, day and date, seemingly. I don't think they've officially said, but they've put a date on it.
I think it is day and date. I'm sure I read that somewhere.
It might be. But we don't have a date for it, so that's the other point I wanted to get to, is that they've emphasised that it's launching autumn 2026. And what I did like, and what I appreciate the most, Richie, is it's a game with British humour, made by a British studio, and even though this is an Xbox broadcast, they said autumn instead of fall in all of their marketing.
Yep.
And I like it and I appreciate it, and it's been the weirdest thing this last 24 hours. I've listened to a couple of gaming podcasts whilst at work, IGN's, Kind of Funnies, and they all start saying autumn. And I've never heard so many Americans use the term autumn before so intently, without just changing it to fall. And I like it.
Yeah, I can confirm, reading from Pure Xbox and Playground have this one planned for autumn 2026, and it's coming to Series XS, PC, and PS5 on day one.
Nice. So I think that, like, in a weird way, like this'll possibly be, if it drops at the right time, a day one purchase for me. Yeah, and I'll be getting it on PlayStation. So
same.
That's how it works, right?
Oh, actually, Wolverine probably the same time of year.
September, right? Wolverine. But again, they're conscious of Wolverine's launch date, or there will be by the time it gets around to it.
Yeah.
With them only saying autumn 2026, do you think it's at risk of being pushed back to next year? Like, how confident do these devs sound talking about it? Not that they would give anything away in the broadcast.
I think even if it was just like 95% done and the next few months are going to be polished, I'd still think, because we're still, we're looking 7-8 months out.
Yeah.
I'd still think they'd probably say autumn, just cover their own backs. So I don't think you can tell on that alone. I feel like Fable does need to probably drop this year because it's been a while in the making. But if it was pushed back to next year for good reasons, like they needed another few months to just really get the game to where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but truthfully, I think they should be pitching this for a potential game of the year, so they really want to get it out.
Yeah, I've seen
September,
I've seen a lot
October.
of people suddenly be kind of like ears pricked up a little bit at this and saying like if it does maybe scratch that Witcher itch and it also has like deep storytelling and graphically it looks great, it's kind of jumped up that ladder of people's kind of assumptions for in their game of the year discussion, which is interesting because like we haven't got hands on. There's been no first looks at it yet, really. I'm sure by the time Xbox Showcase in the summer rolls around, we'll see a lot more of it. We'll get a lot better kind of early previews and stuff will come out.
Yeah, I really do feel like it has the potential to be in the mix.
Yep.
Well, if it plays out, we'll find out as the year goes on. But
absolutely, and it's shot up my list anyway, so that's one thing. So it was interesting as the kind of direct went on. I was thinking to myself, this year on PlayStation, probably I've got Wolverine is going to be like a shoe-in. But then I was looking at the list of other games that I'd probably pick up, and I'm getting South of Midnight, absolutely, whenever they're kind of locking a date for that. You've now got Fable, the Forza game also. It's like, you know what? It's been a long, long time since I bought a racing game. Like, probably since the Stadia days. I am, you know. I do enjoy a good Need for Speed. I know a lot of people raved over Horizon 5, saying that they weren't really into racing games and they thoroughly enjoyed it. So, like, I'm not into them, but I did love them back in the day. And some of my favourite games from, like, PS2, PS3 are Need for Speed games. So it's not like I'm just, I think, a lapsed of that genre, but it's been that long. It's maybe like, okay, maybe I'm ready to jump in with all the hype of Forza, right? And again, Japan's going to be a beautiful setting, so what better country to jump into of your first proper Forza game? So yeah, Xbox could be getting more money out of me on my PlayStation than PlayStation get out of me this year. I
think that's highly likely, actually.
I mean, what else have we got that they've got coming out? I know we talk about
excluding third parties. The only thing really PlayStation Studios that I've got on my list for this year is Wolverine.
Yeah, there's like Saros, which don't think it's really doing it.
It's a pass for me. Yeah, I think it looks awesome, but not for me.
Not for you, yeah. And
but
then
this
obviously
year from the Xbox, I'm potentially going to pick up Avowed at some point this year. Now we've got Fable.
Got Halo, no doubt coming as well.
Probably going to give Halo a pass. Gears potentially could come as well.
Yeah.
What else have we've got? Beast of Reincarnation. Like,
absolutely plenty. So then, I think Fable did itself all the favors at this direct. I don't think there was any issues whatsoever with it. I thought it ticked all the right boxes. They said all the right things, and it was a cracking start, even though it didn't start off the showcase. We then moved on in reverse to we'll move on to Forza Horizon 6, which we knew was coming. It was teased. We also knew its date because it was leaked as part of like an in-game thing. It was correct. So the 19th of May, you can expect it on Xbox and PC. With 4 days early access on May 15th if you want to. But they did say the PlayStation 5 version will be coming later in the year. So they did classify that it is coming to PlayStation. But I think as you theorised last week, it would be a delayed launch later in 2026. So will they have the cake and eat it?
Truthfully, I'm surprised Fable isn't. But
do you think it's maybe because Fable's coming out later in the year and they don't want to drop it to the launch kind of in and around the Christmas winter rush of games that comes out? Because they've got obviously Call of Duty and stuff to come out as well, and Grand Theft Auto's always there, so
yeah, I think with Forza they might be looking at, let's get out in May and then we'll double dip into PlayStation later in the year for maybe like November. Just get out in time for Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where Fable is in that, because it's been autumn, it is in that kind of busy back end of the year. It's like, right, let's just chuck it on everything. Especially if they are looking internally going, we want to push this for Game of the Year, so we want to get as many hands on as possible, get as much hype for the game as possible. Because if you launch on Xbox, it might get a lot of hype, but if a lot of people who typically play PlayStation haven't touched it, you're losing a lot of eyes on the game.
Yeah, it's interesting. Again, I know
And it is political, like...
Well, yeah, we discussed it last week. There's also an element to be said about it'll probably hold its hype in certain parts of the world because you've got it's in Japan and it's going to be, if it's not coming to PlayStation, chances are no one in Japan's probably going to play it because we know the Xbox user base is so small. Maybe it's intentional to go, you know what, the one country we absolutely suffer from in terms of sales, maybe this is the drive they need to go, look, it's a Forza in Japan, go buy your Xbox if you want to play it and see if they can help really drive the hardware sales.
Yeah,
or their
and
cloud
those who
subscriptions.
don't, they're really salivating over like getting their hands on it. So soon to find out it's coming to PlayStation, they're hitting that pre-order button.
Yeah, so I think it could be quite tactical. And if they have like the PlayStation pre-orders up for the Xbox launch, wish list it, all that kind of jazz, I think it could be a quite tactical one. But I think it does need to make it out by the end of the year, so I do hope they hit that one as well. In terms of the game itself, they showed off the first gameplay. They lifted the curtain on Japan and all its breathtaking landscape glory. We've got the cover car as well. It's a GT prototype from 2025. Don't know if that means anything to you.
Nope.
Alongside a Toyota Land Cruiser. It's kind of like, I guess, the FIFA EAFC cover star. It's like the breakout sensational car. But they did go on to say it's going to feature the largest and densest map of any Horizon game to date, full of verticality, diverse biomes, seasonality, and breathtaking driving experiences, elevated by Japan's unique car culture. And then they went on, as you said, to talk about like new features, including customizable car garages and the estate, which looks like you're building like an Avengers-esque complex on your own merit with your coins and credits that you collect. And you can collect over 550 cars at launch, which is crazy.
But can I just point out how fucking beautiful this game is?
Oh, absolutely. It's stunning.
I genuinely think I could convince my dad this is real-life footage.
Oh, undoubtedly. I think we could convince some of our friends it's real footage.
That good. I think the only thing that kind of makes you go, that's not real photography, is frame rate. Typically, photography is shot on 24 frames, where this is clearly at least 60 in most of the scenes they're showing off. So you have that smoothness, which is brilliant for games, but looks a bit weird on TV.
I think you could convince them in a still image. Like if this was like just motorsports photography, you get the right background drop, because again, these guys know how to make open worlds, which is why I'm half excited for Fable, because they know how to make a lush, amazing, stunning environment. And obviously, in Fable, you're going to go through the environment at a slightly slower pace. You're not going to be bombing through at 150 mile an hour. So the detail is going to have to be there. But yeah, the stuff to play it off.
I'm watching the trailer. I just keep stopping in random scenes. And the amount of details in the backgrounds is insane for a game where you're just whizzing past.
Yeah. All a blur. Now, 550...
And the trees. Just the trees.
The foliage. Who doesn't love a bit of foliage? The gameplay, it's going to be arcade action fun. You're going to get all the gameplay types. I think they mentioned a little bit of emphasis on like new rally modes and such and multiplayer. Overall, though, I think 550 cars at launch, clearly a huge number. Is that a lot compared to Gran Turismo? Is that too little? I think when we've played racing games in the past, 550 seems like a shed ton.
It is, but if you're going to be playing this game, like a lot of hardcore racing fans might be playing this game perpetually till the next one comes out. That might be 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah.
So it gives you plenty to play with. And I think it's one of them, probably, if you probably look at it, every time they bring out a new Forza game, they're adding to the roster of cars, and they probably very rarely take cars away.
Well, it depends on the licensing, right? Because previous Forza games have been pulled from the game store, but for licensing reasons.
Yeah.
But in terms of
that's usually a license expiring, though.
Yeah. So actually setting it up.
Yeah.
In terms of the size of the world, then I know they said it's the biggest one they've done yet. Having not played the others, I wonder how truncated do you think this version of Japan is? Can you go from north to south? Because it says different biomes, but is it going to feel, like when you play The Crew and you are traveling across the United States, but it's clearly not, because you'd be there for days driving, but you can do it in a matter of minutes. Like how do they visually compress everything down?
I don't know. I think I can guarantee there's going to be like creators who are comparing like real life journey times in Japan to in game.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's probably going to be days versus hours.
Yeah. Same with like
Because
landmarks.
you literally can't put every single road. That would be boring. It still has to be a game. But what I think they'll probably do is they'll put as many key landmarks from Japan as they possibly can, and kind of judge what it should look like in between them.
Well, it all has to like intelligently be fenced off as well. Like you're not going to go into a city and see like pedestrians and traffic. It's all racetracks, isn't it? So it's all cordoned off certain areas. So I'm curious how they go about doing cities and stuff. Like, do you just approach the boundary fence and it's all like I don't have any references.
They said something about Tokyo being, I think sometime, I want to say, I'm looking for it in the write-ups to make sure I'm right, but I want to say it's 5 times larger than any other city they've done.
Okay.
I can't find it.
And this is partially like why I've got intrigue and why I'd be curious to get in there day one to just actually, you know what, going in blind, knowing that Forza's a great game. We've played it on the channel a few times, Forza Horizon 5, with Rob and our audience, and it's absolutely undeniable fun. But I've never really like played it from the beginning, like picked up a car, did the campaign, became the racing hero. That the game does say like you start off as just a tourist in Japan and you fall into visiting a race, and then you kind of get riled up in that kind of Japanese car culture. And it's very much like your Need for Speed, Fast and the Furious storyline. But I'm kind of curious to see how that pans out in 2026. Like as a modern video game about racing, what does that genuinely look like?
I could totally see, like, if you are a lapsed racing game fan, this is the one you jump back into. It seems like it is throwing everything at you.
Yeah, like I loved and still do love Gran Turismo as well, but I always feel like I get bored of the simulation element of GT. Whereas the arcade nature of this one has got me thinking, like, actually, you know what, this is probably the better place it's a better fit for me to go back to. So,
Makes sense.
Forza Horizon 5. So,
do you still have Game Pass?
No, I actually got rid of it after I played Call of Duty. I think Call of Duty. Actually, I played Call of Duty and Keeper, which was the Double Fine game that came out last October, was it? Maybe. Yeah, I think Keeper and Call of Duty. And then I looked at the roster and thought, there's nothing new that I want to play between probably now and whatever's next in the lineup. So
is Forza a game that you could dust off the Game Pass subscription to dip your toe in?
Maybe, but then I've almost been conditioned by Xbox now to just like, you know what I'm like. I like to own my games. I like them physically sat on the shelf behind me.
I'm just thinking, now you treat it as a kind of demo? Like, I'll play a bit of Forza while I wait for the PS5 release, and then if I'm enjoying it, I will buy it, kind of thing.
That's a good point. Yeah, I might just get my fill beforehand. Like, I'm not going to probably get the platinum because it's, again, a lot of racing trophies are a bit monotonous because it's like get every single race finished within time lapse. I think time lapse are where I tap out.
You know what? I feel like this is a perfect digital game to have. So you can just have it on your console, leave it installed, and any time you fancy it, I'll just go play 1 or 2 races for an hour. Yeah. And then bounce back out into something else.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Like you do with FIFA.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sport, essentially, isn't it? Yeah. Just racing. So, yeah, but look great, looks stunning, beautiful. I think Playground 2 for 2 had a great showcase. And our Playground about to be Xbox's Insomniac, where they just keep putting out games. They're going to join the ranks. Somehow studios that manage to churn out loads. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping Fable is the globe that Guerrilla had from Killzone to Horizon. Like, if they can make that jump, all of a sudden Xbox Studios must be thinking, like, we can trust these guys with, like, anything. I wonder if you can
play Fable with a racing wheel.
I mean, technically it's just a controller, so maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see. But moving on to the rest of the Developer Direct, we also had 2 other games. We'll start off with, I think, the little interstitial one. We mentioned it there. Double Fine released Keeper last year, which was the quirky Lighthouse game. They went on this time to showcase a game called Kiln, which is I'll read the blurb from it. It's a pottery combat game.
Yep.
It says, creating your own pot isn't a pleasant, sad activity. You're quite literally handcrafting your pot from scratch with choices directly influencing how your characters play in the game. In these custom pottery creations, you bring unique elements to life that will impact the game of Kiln. The team worked incredibly hard to balance this for doing... it goes on accessibility. That's not the best blurb to read from. They showcased it, Richie. They brought the staff out to talk about it, and they basically, what I did appreciate is they said at Double Fine, every year they take a week where they drop all tools on one of their projects. Seems like a bad business decision. They all get in a room and basically have like a game creation fest where all the team brings their own ideas.
It's a game jam.
Yeah, it's a game jam. And they all get together and basically do something, and the best idea, they make it. And that's what they did, and that's where we get Kiln, which is, it's this zany combat game where you literally don't just create a character, you are, I guess, creating a character. Yeah. There's no better way to describe it. But your character is variations on pottery, and then they go into combat with each other in a kind of arena-style third-person shooter, fighting arena. I don't even know how you describe it. It's like a keeper. How do you describe a sentient lighthouse?
It's kind of a party game, but you make your own character out of pottery. So based on things like how big your pot is, you might not be able to get through little holes and stuff. Yeah. So if you're chasing out a little teacup and you're a big jug, the teacup can get through a little hole in the level that you can't and escape from you. So there's going to be pluses and minuses of all your designs. Yeah, but it's that kind of thing, that expression of creativity. I can see it's been doing quite well.
Yeah, I'm getting. I was going to say squidlings, but they're called inklings. Is it Splatoon vibes a little bit from it as well, where it is that kind of fun, whimsical nature of all the pots. Like you've got ones who can blow water, ones who can jump, ones who've got spikes on them, and you are just essentially molding clay, almost like with VR, like hands, like in Dreams. Like you can shape it using your controller. But I think the biggest thing I loved about this, like, it's definitely not one for me. Something like we probably play on a stream as a party game, but it's something I'd never really show that much interest to.
Oh, yeah.
It reminds me of just, like, some of the daft things we play, like Outcasts and stuff. It's just like, you can jump in, you'll absolutely have fun. It's a Game Pass game anyway. But I love the fact that it's just Double Fine being quite crazy, and the fact that it just came from a random developers brainstorm idea, and it got to see life. Because how many games get made by indie devs and big studios, which we'll talk about later in the news, about massive AAA studios who can't even get games out. And this is just a bit of whimsy, a bit of joy, put a pin in our main projects, and let's just craft something with some passion and some creativity.
I do love the idea that a big publisher, a big developer like Double Fine actually going, no, for 1 week, regardless who you are in the company, you can work on a game. If you've got an idea, you might work in accounts. You've got an idea for a game, go have a chat with a developer. If they like the idea, you can start working on it together, and then you can pitch the game to everyone. And it's that kind of pure expression of creativity in the gaming medium, where I think that's just a brilliant thing to have, where it was so much about chasing metrics like number of sales, like Metacritic ratings, where sometimes it's just about making a damn bloody good fun game and just getting people with cool ideas to make shit.
Yeah, and it launches this spring, so you won't have to wait too long. An unfortunate cadence of the developer direct I did find is like the dates were a little sparse, considering this is games all coming out this year. We've got autumn, we've got spring, we've got Forza, but we don't know what the PS5 release date is. And then the last one, the Beasts of Reincarnation, that they said, is also just summer 2026. So it's like, I feel like in all previous developer directs, we've got solid dates for everything. When they did South of Midnight, we knew about that. When they did Doom Eternal, Doom Dark Ages, we knew about that. I feel like this one's been a little bit loose, a little bit, considering it's so, because it's going to be in the next couple of months. You think they would have it locked down by now, but maybe they just learned a lesson that if we're not 100% sure, let's just not commit.
I think they've committed to Forza. Then after that, it's like, all right, after Forza, we're not committing yet. We'll commit to that later.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that just might be what they're going to be doing going forward, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's a smart business decision. I think just as the audience, we're so conditioned to expecting a date on things so close. It seems wild not to get one. But then the final game, obviously out of order and stuff, was Game Freak, the Pokemon people's Unreal Engine video game. Beast of Reincarnation, promising a unforgettable blend of action, strategy, and mystery. They give us a few more details. They went into the character of Emma, who's been affected by the Blight, which has removed her memories and emotions, but does give her the ability to manipulate plants. And led by a dog, Ku, that's become a male fact. Don't know what that's going to mean. But her role is to hunt down male facts, but she forms an unusual bond with Ku, setting her off on a journey through Japan circa 4026 AD. So the future. Game Freak calls Beast of Reincarnation a one-person, one-dog action RPG and have created a unique combat system to match. Emma provides classic fast-paced action game tactics in real time, but the dog offers added skills that can be used from the menu that slows time down, more like a turn-based RPG. So I think I think I've seen it bandied around. Like, think more Final Fantasy VII Remake. Don't know if you would agree with that, having played it, Richie.
Yeah, I can see that. I was just reading up what a malefact is. It's a malefaction is a crime, an offence, or an evil deed.
Ooh, so the dog's filled with evil deeds.
Yeah, it's a bit of a wrongin'.
But see, when I read that, it reminded me of the Guardians of the Galaxy game, where like you played as Star-Lord, but you could call in every other member from the Guardians team, like with like special button prompts to like do special attacks and special moves to aid you out in combat. But obviously I haven't played Final Fantasy VII Remake, so I'm not too sure with the comparison. But from what I've seen in the early gameplay stuff, it looks quite unique. Like, yeah, you've got that fast action combat, but then, yeah, you've got your more methodical, thought-processed dogs.
Yeah, I think you're all right with 7 or maybe 15, 16, Final Fantasy 15, 16, where they're kind of semi-turn based. Mm-hmm. So you are doing actiony stuff, fighting, dodging and stuff, but then you also have action points to spend using your like abilities and stuff as you fight.
And she has special powers that she can influence flowers as well.
I think it's a cool twist on things. This is where abilities come from. It's sort of a big thing about interacting with nature.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I'm actually now very interested in this game, where before I think it was getting slapped around with the Soulsborne term.
Yeah.
So it was looking like it's going to be slow, methodical. It's like, oh, here we go again. As someone who's not into that kind of style of games, but it does look. They have talked about it being more about tempo, so it's being a bit more like getting in the rhythm of the fighting, where it is not just slow, ponderous dodge, parry, dodge, attack. Now get your defenses back up.
Yeah,
it is. You can be a bit more aggressive, so I don't think it's going to be as punishing by the looks of it.
Yeah. I do get that vibe, but I'm definitely more intrigued by it now after seeing the gameplay trailer than I was beforehand.
Yeah.
Whereas I think, like you and a lot of our audience, just kind of switch off from that. I don't want to die to a boss 100 times. And when you see the big bosses in the arena, I think we're just so used to it now. That means great. That means I'm going to die 80 times just to get their moveset down, which isn't fun for most people. Anyway.
It is for a lot of people. It's not something I find personally interesting. What I do think is going to be interesting is, what do Game Freak do now? They've got like the shackles of Pokemon off them, because Pokemon is probably a bit of a blessing and a curse for them, because it's such a big IP. There's so many like red lines that they cannot cross. Where this is Game Freak taking everything they've learned from making Pokemon for decades and going, right, we can do whatever we want with this. And I think it looks like they've come up with a cool concept for a game. It looks unique, which I think is good. It's almost similar, oddly, weirdly similar to Fable, where Fable is like a high fantasy but set with more of a British humour. This is kind of similar but with more of a Japanese slant to it.
Yeah. Good showing though, overall, and I think this is why the developer direct felt quite solid all around, because even though we didn't get those dates, every game brought something new, showed off some new different features in gameplay. We heard from the developers, and I think Game Freak in particular, the only thing this will bring them is maybe a couple of frowns from those people who want Pokemon to look a bit nicer.
Pokemon's just going to look... Ultimately, Pokemon's a kid's game. It's just going to be what it looks like, and limited by your Switch a bit.
Hey, Switch 2's out there running Cyberpunk and Assassin's Creed Shadows, no problem. So I feel like they can't lean on that as much as they used to. But overall, great showcase. No doubt we'll get one next year, and we'll hear updates from all these games in the weeks and months to come. Moving on, though, we've got some bad news from the folks over at Ubisoft because they keep stepping on rakes in their own garden. Ubisoft has announced this week within their operational report that they are closing a few projects and studios. In fact, Ubisoft has announced this week they are closing 2 studios and cancelling 6 projects, including the much delayed and talked about Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake, as part of major restructuring efforts. The move is what Ubisoft calls a major organisational, operational and portfolio reset, as it looks to persistently be more selective in the AAA market with an increasing focus on competitive shooter landscape. Random. The restructure will see the publisher split its efforts across 5 creative houses, respectively, focusing on scaling and extending its biggest properties, including Assassin's Creed, Far Cry and Rainbow Six, which, remember, they're the 4 that were separated to a separate business. And Tencent give them a cash injection earlier in the year. In terms of the computer and shooter experiences, that's The Division, Ghost Recon and Splinter Cell, with live experiences such as The Honor, The Crew and Riders Republic and Skull and Bones somehow still being separated. Richie, they've closed Halifax in the UK and Stockholm as part of the restructuring. They've also confirmed publishers in Abu Dhabi, layoffs in Red Links and the massive teams. So just overall, more of the same for Ubisoft. Surprised by the Prince of Persia. Again, we covered that. It feels like years ago when it first came out, and we said it looked like a PS2 game.
There was rumours that it was going to launch in the next month or 2.
I thought that was Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resync. Was that maybe the date? No, I'm sure it was meant to originally release. It's because it's been delayed 3-4 times, right? I feel like it was
studios as well.
Yeah, it was Ubisoft. What they're called, Pune, I want to say, and I don't think they exist anymore. But yeah, the original trailers from 5 years ago. So we'll have covered it at the height of Google Stadia. And yeah, I remember it looked like a PS2 game. But yeah, they handed it over. It's passed a couple of hands back and forth since then. But ultimately, I don't know how after seemingly 6+ years in development, now they choose to can it? Now?
They're cutting the losses. They really are with this.
Tax write-off?
I don't know if it's that. I think it's what Ubisoft's been doing over the last few years isn't really working. Some stuff works. Assassin's Creed is always doing numbers. There's no real worries there. But as an organisation, Ubisoft just feels a bit directionless, a bit like the floundering, trying to figure out what their identity is. Let's not forget, Expedition 33 could have been a Ubisoft game if they just backed the team. But the statement that I want to pull out that annoys me a little bit is persistently more selective AAA market and an increasingly competitive shooter landscape. The last bit I think is fair. We've talked about it before in the games as a service space. It's very hard to break into that space. You have to do something interesting enough to get people over, but also maintain the high levels of quality and support that the long-standing franchises have. But the more selective AAA market, I feel like it's quite diverse, actually, the AAA market. I bemoan how everything does tend to go through these cycles where at the moment everything is looking like a Soulsborne game or is a roguelite. But these genre preferences do shift, and it just goes to show that they're chasing trends rather than doing the Double Fine thing and coming up with a cool fucking concept for a game.
Yeah.
They're just going, well, people users are more selective, and it's like, well, no, it's because your games just aren't. They're never bad, but you're putting up a perfectly good game against exceptional games and charging the same, often close to the same amount. And there's only so many, and games are getting quite longer at times. So there's only so many games you can play. So what you're going to do, play the 8 out of 10 or the 9 out of 10, the 7.5 out of 10 or the 8.5 out of 10. They just keep pitching the game as the overall presentation slightly lower.
Yeah.
And it's not even things like graphics. I think it's just the game's just come across to me as a little bit bland at the moment, a little bit lacking creativity.
I've just noticed, looking back at the original trailer. So the original trailer debuted on the 10th of September 2020. So long ago, Richie, that this current gen of consoles wasn't even out yet. Which means this original trailer was for PlayStation 4 only and Xbox One. It's, on the end of the trailer, it says available January 21st, 2021. So in September of 2020, they were confident this was going to launch January the following year, just after the launch of this generation of consoles. And here we are,
5 years late,
past the midlife cycle, and now they cancel, which is why in my head I'm like, surely it was so close to being done, September to January, close to lock a date in on it. And Ubisoft are usually traditionally quite good for landing the dates, actually, in the past. To then add half a decade of graft and polish and work, to then get to this point and go, you know what? You can't have it. You can't have it. They did put out on social media a post that said to the Prince of Persia community, which I'm sure is in there tons and millions of nobodies, because it's not. I don't think it's that big anymore. We hear you. We're sorry, all the hard work, passionate team. They did say they're not stepping away from the franchise, so that does allure to there's something in the pipeline. It just ain't going to be a remake of the beloved Sands of Time game.
They brought out 2 Prince of Persia games last year.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Just not
I
the
feel
ones
like
people were hoping for.
The big thing here is, though, they are restructuring to kind of have a clear focus across these 5 creative houses, which I'm guessing going to act fairly independently of each other, each with their own remit, with one of them being like where's the title? Things like Assassin's Creed, your Far Cry, your Rainbow Six is your big AAA priorities. The second's going to be a competitive shooter, like games as a service. So third's going to be your live experiences, the Crew, Riders Republic, stuff, Skull and Bones, For Honor. 4 is... I find it. 5 was a casual and family game. I can't remember what 4 is, but they have these 5 creative houses that are very specific what they're focusing on. And I feel like Prince of Persia should have, Sands of Time remake should have fit into category 1, but clearly isn't up to the quality that needs to be. So as part of the structure, they've decided to just go, right, you're gone. We're going to take our losses on this.
Do you think it's just a sign of the struggling financial situation Ubisoft have found themselves in through unfortunately, a couple of bigger mistakes have led to stuff that would have been a nostalgic project, a legacy project like this, and also Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake. And they just looked at it and thought, you know what, I think they're expecting a reduction of 330 million euros profit this year. So again, year on year, they're down. Games are underperforming. Shadows and stuff hasn't done as well as Valhalla and everything before it. And the CEO, Yves Guillemot, says in a company statement, these measures mark a decisive turning point for Ubisoft and reflect our determination to confront challenges head on to reshape the group for the long term. So it does really sound like they're just leaking from all parts of the ship, and they're trying to keep the best people. And I think if you were to compare them, is an Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake going to do better than a Prince of Persia remake? And which one's going to cost more for the next couple of months to get it out? Yeah, it's an unfortunate loss.
I think that it's just about, they've looked at the corporate structure and gone, we're too big, it's too ungainly. There's like, we've got a studio focused on the Prince of Persia remake versus something like an Anno versus Just Dance versus Assassin's Creed, all on the same banner, same leadership. Yeah. What if we silo these into creative houses, and we can probably put I wouldn't be surprised if we start hearing about new creative heads for each of these houses, as they call them.
Yeah.
So that person is going to be in charge of that portfolio. Yeah. So Creative House 4 is focused on building immersive fantasy worlds and narrative-driven IP, such as Anno. Anno, you know that famous 4X strategy game? Rayman, Prince of Persia.
Rayman hasn't had a game in like 13 years.
Yeah. But they got name checked in Creative House 4. So I think Creative House 4 is everything that isn't their priority AAA, or their like shooters, or their live service. And 5 is your Just Dancers and
I tell you what, Richie,
Hasbro license stuff.
I'm gonna make a prediction. these have all been siloed off. The ones that have been siloed off are going to be piecemeal purchased by other companies. Don't know who, don't want to name who or what. I could see this Prince of Persia remake being sold to the highest bidder, and I wouldn't be surprised if, say, a company like the Embracer Group, not specifically them, because I think they're also a leaky ship at the moment, seemingly steadied it a bit in recent years with Space Marine 2 and SpongeBob and some other titles they've got a steady flow of income now. But if you've just got this little pocket of like random IP that Ubisoft clearly don't know what the fuck to do with, give it to like lesser studios or smaller studios and go, you know what? You can have the assets, you can have the IP, like even just buy the license. And I could see these things being salvaged. Maybe not in the next year, but maybe in the next 5 or so years to come. Because let's face it, with gaming, nothing's ever really dead. The nostalgia will build. People will starve for that little taste of it, and it'll come back in some way or form. So I think, another company might buy a sliver of Ubisoft with a couple of IP, and we'll see the likes of Prince of Persia return in the future.
I can see that. My only thing against that is you're kind of suggesting that they would sell Creative House 4. I'm guessing like these creative houses will be set up as their own separate businesses that are owned by Ubisoft. For the sake of this conversation, let's say Creative House 4 is a standalone business that owns the IPs. Mm-hmm. I don't know why you would put Anno in there, because Anno is one of them games. It's not massive in terms of like consciousness, but it does have a very, very solid PC gamer fan base.
Yeah.
So it feels like I can see why you lump in things like Rayman with Prince of Persia. If Beyond Good and Evil is probably chucked in there because they need to find somewhere for it. And they're probably going to try and get. They're trying to shoehorn. Let's just get this out of our studio, out of our hands. But I don't know why Anno would be in that group.
I mean, I cannot believe if between these 6 supposed cancelled projects, how Beyond Good and Evil isn't one that they're going to cut the losses on is beyond me, pun intended. Like,
I don't know.
How can you... So after 6-7 years, Prince of Persia gets cut so close to launch, and you are still committed to Beyond Good and Evil, a game that I don't think anyone cares about at all.
The only thing I can think of is there's so deep in it financially that they can't find a solid justification to cancel it. Which maybe, if you're right here, it's in Creative House 4, and maybe they've had to chuck something like Anno in where I go, you know what, guys, if you want to buy it, this Anno game, it's a steady way money
It comes
generator.
with other stuff.
Yeah, and they're putting it in there to try and recoup some of the costs into Beyond Good and Evil and Prince of Persia.
It's like
and then they'd be quite happy to part with Prince of Persia and Rayman.
Yeah, I think you're possibly right in there in saying they've tactically done it so each division has like quality, but then padded out with a bunch of like lesser known stuff, so that if you do buy it, it's like no, you don't buy the individual; they come as a collective. It's all or nothing. So then whoever's looking at Persia, they'll go like, oh, we kind of only really want Rayman, and they're like, yeah, well, it comes with Beyond Good and Evil, so.
Yeah, if you look at the other career houses, they have a bit of a stronger identity. So 5 is your family friendly games, things like Just Dance, Idle Miner, Tycoon, Ketchup. I don't know what any of these are. Uno and the Hasbro licensed games. So there's the kind of smaller stuff. 3 is your live service, so it's For Honor, The Crew, Riders Republic, Brawlhalla, and Skull and Bones. 2 is your shooters, so that's the Tom Clancy section basically. Just make it simpler. So it's your divisions, your Ghost Recons, your Splinter Cells. Splinter Cells in 2. It's in 2. And 1 is your like Assassin's Creed, it's your Far Cry's, your Rainbow Six is in Creative House 1. Oddly enough, not in with 2. But
weird. Because again, they're selling them piecemeal, so
yeah.
It's an interesting one. But
that could be the Tencent stake, because Tencent has a stake in Creative House 1. Okay, so maybe that's why Rainbow Six is in there.
Yeah, they know it's a money maker, so they're going to keep it.
Yeah.
But you know what? In the meantime, Richie, I might be tempted to go back this month and play the original Prince of Persia: Sands of Time on PlayStation.
Probably better than the remake.
I mean, it might look the same from when it came out originally. I don't know if I've said on the podcast before. I'm sure I have to some degree. But this is the game that I bought from Comet. Can you remember Comet in the UK?
Yes.
When it originally launched. And I bought it specifically from Comet because if you went them, they'd price match. But they were out of stock everywhere else that I wanted to buy it from. and Comet, who traditionally, for those who are in the UK, sold like, I guess, washing machines and they were more like big electronics rather than entertainment electronics, if that makes sense. It was more like
it's the sort of place where you buy a washing machine.
Yeah, washers, dryers, all that kind of hoovers and whatnot. So yeah, I went there because they had them in stock, but they also price matched. So I managed to get like a better price originally, bought it, took it home, and I played like the first couple of hours, and I got stuck at a puzzle, and I couldn't get past this puzzle. I couldn't figure out the time mechanics of like how to solve it to get across like a couple of platforms. And as a child, when did this one come out initially? 2003. So as a 13-year-old, I didn't have the brain capacity to figure out the puzzle, but I did have the brain capacity to take my receipt back, and I didn't trade it, and I took it back to Comet and went, I'd like a refund, and I got my money back, and I went and probably bought like what did I buy instead? It was Second Sight on the PS2 as well, which is a game about like having telekinesis powers, which is awesome game, by the way. So maybe 20 odd years later, maybe I can figure out the puzzle, and I might even do a stream of it. We'll see. But
I bet it's not as hard as you thought.
I'll probably get past it in seconds, and I'll go, I don't remember this part of the game. It's like, that means I must have got past my my blocking point. But yeah, Ubisoft, unfortunately, doing Ubisoft things. They'll get back on track eventually, you would imagine. If you want to buy some share prices, seemingly now is the time again, because it couldn't get lower than that. You would hope. Speaking of getting lower than that, Richie, our next story of the week, sorry, any Marathon fans out there, we got the official release date for Marathon, and it's closer than you might suspect. The Bungie follow-up to the, I guess, classic Marathon title, which was rebooted, rejuvenated with this entry, is launching March the 5th. So only, what would you say, February's a short month, 4 weeks, about
6 weeks,
6 weeks away, which is quite impressive. But then again, this was supposed to come out last summer, autumn, and it got delayed, so they've had a bit of time to graft and polish and make it feel as close to Arc Raiders as humanly possible. But you know what, the launch trailer looks fun. I think we've said probably our thoughts on this game to death now, but it's going to go one way or the other. I think it's going to be immensely popular. To its credit, it's doing well in the Steam pre-orders and the wish lists, so it's going to have a Bungie and Destiny user fan base behind it anyway, just to test it out.
I think because it's Bungie, there's a lot of Destiny fans will be just jumping across to give it a go, because it is like a kind of a reimagining of a previous game called Marathon.
Yeah,
a lot of people who back in the day who loved that game will probably be in. Yeah, and it does look cool for what it is. It's just not up my street.
Yeah, I think mechanically we know, similar to Call of Duty Activision, like the shooting mechanics are going to be down to a point. It's going to be fun. It's going to be frenetic. It's going to feel good to play. It is just, for me, it's that, like, what does that world look like? And I personally don't have the time to engage or get into it, or I'm not, because I'm ultimately not even that intrigued by it, because it looks like generic neon shooter stuff. But March 5th, pre-orders out now. Let me know in the comments below if you're going to buy the deluxe edition. That comes with the midnight pre-order gun skin and the bright pink helmet.
Can I just point out, though, there is a limited edition DualSense.
Oh, yes, of course, yeah.
It looks ugly.
What don't you like about it?
It's just covered in crap. There's just slap shit everywhere. That's what Sony seems to be doing this a lot with the DualSenses, where they'll just take the DualSense and just slap images all over the thing. I just don't think it looks good. I can see how it's on brand, but I feel like, as usual with Sony's thing, it's a bit much.
Does it come with these little maggot creatures on it, do we think? The little purple neon maggot things?
I don't think so. It's just kind of like the neon yellow kind of branding with loads of little decals around the place and a massive R on the right-hand side of the controller. Yeah, I don't know. I think it looks...
I don't know what the R's for, because it's not even like the logo of the game or anything. Maybe it's something in the game. Like
if your friend came round your house and he wasn't so into games like to the standard we are, and you were just playing a few rounds of FIFA or something, you'd have to explain that controller.
Yeah, it's more for the super fan, isn't it? It's probably because it's just a white one with, like you said, with decals on. It's probably an easy one to manufacture cheaply.
But I'll point out, though, I also hate things like the Ghost of Yotai one, so it's not me just ragging on Marathon.
Yeah,
I just
same.
think the only limited edition one I've liked so far is the Astrobot one.
Yeah, because it's I guess it's in the game, right?
Yeah, the block color stuff and the hyper pops aren't too bad, but like the game specific is Astrobot. That's the only one I've liked.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Hyperpop Red, I think.
I like the blue as well. Rhythm Blue. Remix Green isn't too bad, but it's not.
No, they're not. Again, none of them I don't think are terrible. I do think just they could do more with them.
They're not what I still, even though they're not terrible, they're not what I'd choose. I think like the standard ones are still nicer.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up, though, we do have something we both do like. Just pivoting again, our audience, like, we get it. You don't like shooters. You don't like Soulsborne games. What we do like, though, is some angsty teens, anxiety-driven, superpower, emotional storytelling, and that's what we're here with. Life is Strange Reunion. We knew was teased because of a ratings board leak a couple of weeks ago now. We know it was going to be announced ahead of the trailer coming out, but yes, Life is Strange Reunion has been announced. The next entry in the Life is Strange series includes Max Caulfield and Chloe Price as co-leads once again. Reunion releases 26th of March, Richie, so that's kind of snuck up on us, this one, how quick it's came about. According to the Reunion team, Chloe's return is probably down to the powers Max gained in the most recent entry in the series, Double Exposure, which, even though we've just said we're fans of the franchise, neither of us have played yet.
No.
Probably want to pick up in a sale.
It's on both our radars, yeah.
I've seen it in a few sales, like physically, so I think, again, this is one that I might pick up soon. We did enjoy True Colours as well, which we streamed entirely on the channel, so if you want some Life is Strange action, go check that out. However, yeah, spoilers aside, supernatural powers and stuff, there's been a resurgence of Max's rewind ability, apparently, and in Reunion she can stay in the past via the Polaroid pictures from Double Exposure. So Max's rewind powers can also be her undoing, because we know messing with time, Richie, it can have its problems. Yes, there's going to be romance options, storylines similar to a Telltale game, but yeah, are you ready to go back to the Life is Strange universe? And are you kind of glad in a way that their story's coming to an end? I feel like they are dragging it out a little bit 10 years in.
I've got a feeling with this game being so close to Double Exposure, these were both planned at the same time as a way of kind of rounding out Life is Strange as a franchise, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Life is Strange 2 isn't really about them, so I always felt like Life is Strange 2 initially, they were like, right, new story, different characters, and then we got Before the Storm, which was like, oh, actually... They sold more of that, so I think the audience members shown that actually they're here for Max and Chloe, not necessarily for the gameplay loop and the mechanics. So then, yeah, they've went back. So I guess think it's almost like the Max and Chloe trilogy. I could see being like a packaged like version eventually that we see
it'd be a quadrilogy now with Reunion. Because you got Life is Strange 1, then Before the Storm, which is a prequel to 1.
No, Before the Storm was DLC, though. It wasn't a proper release.
No, it was a standalone.
Was it?
Wasn't it?
I thought it was just DLC.
I thought Before the Storm was a standalone.
No, I thought it was DLC.
Right.
Either way.
Either way.
A collection. A Max and Chloe collection.
Yeah. There's 4 discrete experiences. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
That I think it seems I haven't played Double Exposure. So Reunion could be interesting. I do like the fact that they bring back Chloe, and it does feel when you read into it that they're not kind of abandoning your playthrough of Life is Strange 1. It feels like Max has got this kind of ability to exist in multiple timelines simultaneously kind of thing going on.
Okay.
So like all endings kind of happened in a way.
It's like multiverse.
And it feels like that's the shit that's going to be going down, the problems, including Chloe. So
interesting. Because we had the remake as well, didn't we? Life is Strange 1 got a remake.
Just the remasters, weren't they?
Yeah. It might be time to go back and then play. I'm all messed up now.
All of them.
All of them. I don't think I need to play 2 though. I feel like I can skip 2.
Yeah, I feel you can skip 2 and Life is Strange True Colours.
Yeah, I mean, I've played True Colours, so that's fine.
Yeah. I'd like to replay. I never finished 2, and I never played through True Colours on my own because we streamed it together.
But they are fun games. And again, I think they're more slow paced. So I think if you don't want a big open world, you're looking for like a decent in-depth story. Yeah, I think this could be one. Interesting.
I'm just waiting for that day where there's a PlayStation sale on, and Double Exposure comes on. I look at it and go, "Yep, I'm going for that." But at the moment, it's £50.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
on the PlayStation Store.
No chance for that. Let's have a look on Amazon for you, Richie.
30. It's 30. I've already looked.
30. Fair enough. Reunion. Oh, wait there. There's a collection. It does say there's a collection. Hang on a minute. Life is Strange Collection, disc in CIB, PS5. The hell's that? Life is Strange, Before the Storm, Life is Strange 2, True Colours, and Double Exposure. Free delivery, January 29th. That must mean it's out now. In stock. There is a complete edition. I'm looking at it. I don't know. I'm looking at it right now.
Is that not just the Life is Strange 1 complete season?
No, it's a PS5 box copy for £61 of the ones I've just listed. Did not know that was a thing.
Reunion's not out yet.
Reunion's not out. It's the only one. It stops at Double Exposure.
All right, yeah, so don't buy that. Wait for Double Exposure, because it's almost certainly going to do another bundle.
It looks like quite a cool collection, to be fair.
Yeah. If you want it, it's one of them where I feel if you wanted the proper collector's edition kind of thing, you wait till Reunion comes out, because that is going to be the end from what they're saying. Then you wait for that edition.
If you're doing a little fix in between, though, or you want them for your collection, weirdly enough, True Colours is only £15 currently on PS5. Or if you're looking for something very similar, Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, which was the not spin-off, it's a spiritual successor game made by the original studio. That's going for £15 as well.
Do we have a date for this?
For what?
Life is Strange Reunion.
Yeah, it's March
26th. Yeah.
So
I was going to say, I didn't see it in the articles, I didn't see a date, but it's on the PlayStation Store. Oddly enough, Reunion is cheaper than Double Exposure.
Why does that happen?
Reunion's 45, Double Exposure's 50, and that's for the base date version. It's not your, like...
When will they learn? Do a price drop ahead of a new one, so then everyone gets in on the old one, so you make a bit of cash ahead of time. Fools. Final quick news stories, Richie. Not really much else outside that big game news. PlayStation Portal peaks in the US with its highest PS5 console attachment rate yet. It's gone up. 7% of PS5 owners in the USA now own a PlayStation Portal, according to these metrics from Matt Piscatella over at sales data analyst website Sakana. It's revealed at the end of 2025, 7% of console owners in the country also owned a Portal to go with it, which is up from October when it was reported around 5%. So clearly a lot of people got a Portal for Christmas stateside. Are we surprised, or is this just the rise of handheld gaming continuing?
I think it's the rise of handheld gaming, and the PlayStation Portal, if you already own a PlayStation, is very accessible. And actually, you can stream a lot of titles natively now as well. But as some people in the Push Square comments are saying, they really do need to double down on getting the PS3 games streamable. Because a lot of PS3 games, you can stream them natively to your console, but then you can't stream it to your Portal. And I feel like it's a huge library that would be great on the Portal. Yeah.
The comments always paint a good picture of, like, everyone who seems to have one loves it. Everyone who doesn't have one says, I'm really curious to pick one up either at their birthday or Christmas or when it goes on sale. It's such a terrific device. And like it just seems like, everyone seems... You get the odd one who complains about it not working, and again, that's more so if you look at your own internal house Wi-Fi network.
Yeah, mine's been a bit sketchy, to be honest.
But then it's the same with, I think, people who complain about cloud gaming not working. It's usually not the product itself. It's external factors like internet speed and ping and everything like that, which sometimes, if the network's busy, you can't really do much about that, unfortunately.
I do think cloud gaming is brilliant. It's not for every single game. Fast Twitch gameplay, you're always going to have them extra milliseconds of delay.
Yeah.
That it's not going to feel as great as if you were sat at your console. But then, clearly, if you are that need your latency to be so absolutely gone, you buy the console.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Last bit of news, there's a Super Mario Galaxy Movie Direct coming this Sunday, so yesterday, when this show goes live, we've obviously missed it. Nintendo just do directs for anything now. I'm guessing it's going to be a new trailer. They'll maybe introduce 1 or 2 new voice actors who are going to play different characters in the movie, and it'll look good, and the movie will be great. Anything to add?
Not really.
No.
I think Rosalina's been apparently voiced by Brie Larson.
Oh, we knew that. That was at the Game Awards reveal, I think, if I remember that. And Brie Larson's a huge Nintendo fan. She's been in there. She was in the adverts for the Switch 2 launch, I want to say, or maybe the Switch 1. One of the Switches. She's been in the ad campaign, so she's a huge Nintendo fan and a gaming nerd, apparently. So it's nice to see more of Brie Larson. Who doesn't want to see more of that?
And they have pointed out there'll be no game information at the presentation. So if you're hoping for some sneaky other Mario game news, this isn't for you.
The next Mario Odyssey, where is it? What they're doing with it? Yeah. We're overdue one. But in the meantime, Richie, we like to round out every single show with this day in video game history. We're recording on January the 23rd for episode 499. Which games came out in the yesteryear that tickle your fancy?
Resident Evil 7 Biohazard came out on the PC 9 years ago.
9 years. So you're going to overlook Papa the Rapper 2 on the PlayStation 2? 24 years ago.
Yes, I did overlook it because I genuinely didn't see it.
Papa the Rapper.
I've also never played Parappa the Rapper.
I think I played it once, but you know what? PlayStation Retro Hunters out there, I do not own it. So, note to self.
There you go. One for
the list.
One for the future.
I think I've played it on the dance mat. I think that's where I played Parappa the Rapper. Punch, kick. That's what he does.
Mario Party 2 on the N64 I never played, but Mario Party's always well received. In January the 24th, 26 years ago. Shit, the N64 was 26 years ago.
Yep.
I was 26 not long ago.
You weren't. Everyone's doing those 10-year flashbacks, and I don't do them. Skipping ahead to the 25th of January, Dead Space 2 launched on the PS3 and Xbox 360 in 2011.
Magica, 15 years ago on the PC. Fun game.
Oh, yeah, indeed. 8 years ago, that's what I was just going to pick out. 8 years ago in 2018, we got Celeste on Switch, PC, PS4, and Mac. And I guess to loop back around to our beginning of the show, Richie, 3 years ago, we got the stealth drop of Hi-Fi Rush.
Oh, nice. Are you just overlooking Resident Evil 2 as well?
I am, because I don't want to go to the whole tirade of RE2 remakes and why they haven't done one remake and stuff yet. Hi-Fi Rush, though, I will point out, I've pre-ordered the physical edition from Limited Run Games.
Oh, cool.
Because I really enjoyed Hi-Fi Rush on the Xbox. It's a game that I'd probably, similar to South of Midnight, smaller game where I would like to give it its flowers by getting the platinum on it. I enjoy playing through it. It's been somehow 3 years since I played it last, which is mind-blowing to say out loud. So I'd jump in on the PS5, play through it again, do a little bit of trophy hunting on that one. And it was such a good game that got the studio shut down and then subsequently sold, which is like, it feels like the most underhand compliment of a great game that's ever happened in the history of games.
I still think that happened purely because they didn't have an open project, so they were easy to shut down.
Yeah, I agree. But obviously the franchise is now with the Crafton, the PUBG people now, Callisto Protocol, so Tango Gameworks was saved. But yeah, Limited Run Games, I know I've heard mixed things about Limited Run Games. Like, not only do they do fantastic physical copies of games that would never otherwise get a release, but I've heard their shipping and timeline schedule's a bit shit. People apparently pay for things day one and then they don't get them until well after the initial window, because you can imagine they deal with a lot of like collectibles, replicas, statuettes. There's probably a lot of logistical stuff to get it together, but as a business,
they're a small organisation, aren't they, as well?
Yeah. And it's been shipped from stateside as well, so
oh god, you're never getting this.
We'll see. But Hi-Fi Rush was a smaller game, so it wasn't overly expensive. It's less than I would have expected to pay at launch for a physical copy, let's say that much. I think it came in about $50, so you're probably talking, what, 40 quid?
Don't tell Trump he'll put a tariff on games.
I've paid for it now. But yeah, so I'll give you the update when that finally arrives. But it's a shame it didn't get a wider physical release. And it goes back to, I guess, how Xbox's platform is how Gears Remake got a physical release. Forza 5 didn't. South of Midnight. Hoping for a physical shoe. The pick and choose.
They're testing the waters, aren't they? They're experimenting.
Yeah.
But I think with Hi-Fi Rush, they didn't expect it to be a breakaway hit.
Yeah, they didn't. Hellblade 2? That's due out soon, right? It's coming to PS5 this year.
Yeah, but I don't think it got a physical release, did it?
Oh no, it came out August last year.
Yeah.
I thought it was still due out in the future. So that didn't get a physical release, I don't think. Hellblade 2 physical. See where it takes me. Updates. Oh, Limited Run Games did it.
So yeah.
Confirmed.
Well, there you go.
Expected.
I knew there was something.
Content, physical, deluxe editions. Why is it happening? How to get it? Oh, it says Limited Run Games and retail slightly starting in late 2025 or 2026 after the digital launch. So... Oh, wait, there you go. I've got an article. I have an article. Hellblade 2 to get physical release through Limited Run Games. This is from May last year. So I might have missed the boat on that one. But you know what? Hellblade 2 was kind of disappointing on a lot of fronts, so I maybe wouldn't give it its PlayStation flowers. But South of Midnight, come on. Don't do me dirty with South of Midnight, because it was a great game. That deserves my eyes. And Forza. I'll absolutely buy Forza if you give me it on disc. But problems have been a physical media collector, Richie. But that does bring us to an end of episode 499 collectively of our podcasts here on the channel, of course. This has been the Gamer Guild Podcast for technically episode 128. We're creeping up on the Sounds of Stadia podcast, you know, slowly but surely.
Oh,
we got to 161 with Sounds of Stadia, and we're at 128 for this one.
So we'll pass it this year.
Will we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Just
yeah,
52 weeks in the year.
Well,
we've only used
right. Yeah, we're only into January. Yeah. But more importantly, I think the bigger picture is nearly 500 episodes of podcasting over 6 and a bit years, which is wild. And thank you, everyone out there, our guild heroes, for your support. Everyone who's commented, helps out the algorithm, shares with your friends, and joins us in our Discord. That's been it for episode 499. My name's been Chris.
And I've been Richie.
We've been the Gamer Guild Podcast. We'll see you next week for the 500th edition. And remember, everyone, play wherever makes you the happiest. See you next time. Goodbye.